Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Baca here. I'm going to cover with you your Amplify lesson for the day. Today we are doing 7C, subunit 2, lesson 2. This one is talking about dopamine in the adolescent brain. Dopamine is a chemical that is produced inside your brain that is associated with feelings of pleasantness, happy, joy, etc. See, an interesting thing happens as the brain develops. You have this reward cycle that gets hardwired into a person's brain, right? Where when you do something and it brings you happiness, that releases dopamine. Your body says, oh good, I like that. I'm going to do that type of activity again. And what we associate things that release dopamine into our systems with is going to determine what things your brain continues to do it for, right? If you really like soccer and soccer gives you an incredible high and your brain produces dopamine based upon that, that feedback cycle can be rather healthy. On the other side of the coin, there are some unhealthy activities that people have a tendency to enjoy that can also release dopamine, and that can lead to a negative cycle. In this lesson, the main thing that you're going to want to do is go through a couple of these here, okay? Look at number 2 and read the article. Read and understand how dopamine is produced, why it's produced, where it's produced, and what does it do, okay? There's a couple of questions that they ask you about. What words or phrases do you think would help you explain how dopamine works? Was it things like risky things, pleasure, intensity, the brain's reward center, elicited? Are those words that would help you explain the idea of dopamine to somebody else? The graded portion of this assignment is simply to do the writing assignment. And the writing prompt on this lesson is actually quite easy. The question is, drivers who are under 25 years old tend to be in a lot more accidents than drivers that are over 25 years old. Find evidence in the text to explain why that might be the case. I'll give you a little bit of guidance here. The brain is developing at this point, right? We know that. We know that we're doing synaptic pruning. We know that we're doing myelination, which is the refinement of axons to make sure that they convey good messages quickly. And we're pruning back the things that we don't need, that don't serve us very well, so that our brain can focus more specifically on one thing at a time. Now, in addition to that, we're also having this massive increase in dopamine production in our brain, which causes us to do certain activities. Again, the things that we just talked about. So what I would do if I was doing this writing assignment is I would skim through this and I would find things that specifically talk about the time frame mentioned, the mid-20s. And then I would find what changes take place at that imaginary line in the sand, and if it is conducive to the argument of people being over 25, having moved to a different part of their life, okay? Again, it is all linked together. These changes in the brain cause you to change the way that you think, the way that you reason. You're not going to be as impulsive, you're not going to be as emotional, and you're going to be governed a lot more by logic and reason. Now, certainly there's times that we're going to lose sense of all of that and make choices based upon what we want, based on our dopamine response. But why? What changes that? So read through the article. It is a very easy writing assignment. I look forward to reading it. Thank you so much.